Welcome back everybody, and thank you for joining me. I thought we'd have a go at another of these tag ephemera holder thingies that I'm making a little series of, or have been. It's been a few weeks. If you've watched my face video just a few down, you'll probably know the reason why. So we're on number 15. 50 stack challenge prompt is sticker, and this is number 15, the one I made for Tracy's original December daily in 2021, and it's just a pocket with a little notepad in it. So we're going to have a go at that. This is the mock-up I've made, so it's very similar. And I'm going to show you how I put this together, so just bear with me while I get sorted and we'll get going. So I'm going to go have a go at doing two. So the first thing you need is a piece of paper which is 7.5 by 6.5, and I've scored that. I was going to have it this way up. I've scored it at 3.5 and 7. So I'll just show you on here from a little scoring tool. So yeah, 3.5, 7, and I've turned it round and I've done 1/2 inch down here. So that's our starting point. And usually I just roughly fold along the line so that I can see where my folds are. Okay, and then what we need to do is cut off one bottom piece. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go slightly at an angle there and then cut along here. And I'm going to do the same on this little corner here. So I'm going to go in at an angle and cut that off more or less straight, maybe just slightly taper that. So this is going to form our pocket, something like that. I've done this one as well. These are digitals from Ruby and Pearl, I think. I can't remember which kits, but definitely from Ruby and Pearl. And then before we do any gluing, I want to tear the top, because I thought a raggedy edge would make a nice change. So I'm just going to take a little piece off the top. Let's go this way. She says, can't tear it. There we go. I'm doing it this way because I don't want a white edge on the front. I don't mind it on the back, but I don't want it on the front. I'll do the same with this one. And then we're going to put an image on each of these. Just fold it up so I can see where the image is going to go. So for this one, I'm going to use a Tim Holtz woman. And this one, I think I just cut this out of a book. I might just cut this one down slightly so it's a little bit smaller. Sort of picks up the blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one down so the corners aren't rounded. I'm going to cut this one down a little bit so they're approximately 4 by 2.5. This one will be slightly shorter, 4 by 2.5 or 3 3/4 by 2.5. And then I'm going to lightly glue them on the front so that I can stitch round before I sew these together, before I glue these together. So bear with me while I do that, and then I'll be back. Right, so I've stitched around the image and I've also stitched zigzag along the top edge, and now we're just going to glue it together. I'm using art glitter glue. And if you remember, our prompt was sticker. I'm not going to use fancy stickers or anything like that, but I have got these Tim Holtz sayings, the small talk set. So I'm just going to, I like to get rid of this white edge. So I'm just using a marker, black marker, just to go around the edge of this. And I've got one for the other one I've made as well, so let's do that at the same time. And I like to put a bit of glue on these just to help it along, make sure it stays stuck. This one's going at the bottom here, just a bit off centre. Get it level. And this one I think will look better at the top. I don't know why, but it just does. This sort of balances this out, and it balances better this way. So there we are with those. I am going to decorate the pockets with some floral, some little flowers, I think, but I'm just going to leave that for now and make the tags to go inside. So for the insert, I'm using printables, but I want them to be quite thick, so I'm using back to back, and I've cut these at what have I cut these? 6.5 by 3 3/8. So it's a fairly tight fit, but I quite like that. Can always shave a little bit off later. You can do it as one piece of paper. So this is 6.5 by 6 3/4, and fold it in half before you're gluing it. And that'll work just as well. So I'm going to glue these together using glue stick, and then I'll be back. Right, so now we need to decorate our tags. I've glued this together, and I've done this one. So these are glued together. I've put an image over a library card just because, and then they need to be glued onto the tag. So I've stitched them before I've glued them because I don't want the stitching to go through to the back. Could do, it wouldn't really matter, but that's just me. So just make sure you glue it low enough down so it won't show once it's in the pocket. Obviously, if you haven't got library cards, use book pages, or you don't have to use anything at all. You just put the image straight on there, which is what I've done on the others, which I'll show you in a second. That's that, yeah. So for the original one, I did a sort of collage. And this one, this mock-up, I just put an image over some cream paper. Okay, so the next thing we do, if I can get that back in, there we go, is I'm going to round the corners. makes it easier to insert and just gives it a different look, which is quite nice. And then I'm going to straight stitch around the edge of these inner tags. So I shall go and do that and then be back. Right, so I've just done a stitch. It's hard to see because I've done it in a neutral colour, but it's stitched around the edge. And now we need to attach our little notebook on the back. I'm just using 4 sheets of vintage paper, and these measure 3 1/4 by 6 1/4. Again, I'm going to round the corners. Just got them fastened together with paper clips. And then we need to attach them to the back. So I am putting them on the back with the top edge level with the top edge of our tag, and then I'm using these paper clips to hold them in place. I want to make 2 eyelets at the top, and I've marked those approximately 3/4 of an inch in. So I'm going to go through, the crocodile will go through the paper and the card quite easily. We've got our eyelets. That's 1. 2. So that should be secure. So that's our little notebook on the back. I mean, you could add more pages if you want to, and that slots in there quite nicely. And I'm just going to tie some pinky corally seam binding around the top. How long is this? I probably should tell you that. About 18 inches-ish. That just gets tied in a bow. Can fiddle with that. I had a dangle on the original one, and I also wanted to put some flowers on here. So you can stay with me while I do that if you'd like to. Just got some little, so those will glue on with a little pearl in the centre just to dress that up a little bit. This one I did finish. I could put some flowers on this one, I might do that. But I messed this one up, so just so that you can see how I've corrected it, I did the eyelets before I added the paper. So all I've done is shorten this paper a little bit, stitched across the 4 sheets to connect them together, and then just glued them under the eyelets. So that works just as well, really. I did think afterwards as well that you could turn this into a pocket, so you'd have an extra pocket. I wanted these to be sort of functional ephemera pieces to go with our journal, so that's why we've got the notebook on the back. That's what it looks like on the back. So as I say, if you want to stay with me while I do this little bit. So I just let those settle for a minute, just for the glue to take. I might have to resort to Fabri-Tac. And then I'll find some pearls and I'll glue those in the centre. So let me go and do that, and then I'll come back and show you them completely finished. So there we are, done. The original, number 15 from Tracy's December Daily in 2021. The mock-up I made, I did use an extra sticker on that one, but I don't think it needs it really. So the stickers are just these. I've put flowers and pearls at the bottom here. I did put a dangle on this one, just an old earring, which looks quite pretty. I've left this one, thought this one had enough going on really with the colours. If you haven't got seam binding, you could use tab at the top, any sort of tab. You could use bits of lace instead of the flowers, which would look quite pretty, just glued on. If you haven't got fabric flowers, just use punched flowers if you've got those. You can just curl them a little bit with a pencil or your finger and just glue those with pearl or a diamante in the middle. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll be back soon with another one.